Have you ever held a simple old coin in your hand and wondered, could this tiny piece of metal be worth a small fortune? Well, don't blink, because what you're about to see might just shock you. Imagine finding an ordinary-looking 1971 Two New Pence coin, a coin most people would overlook, toss into a jar, or spend without a second thought, only to discover it could be worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars to the right collector. Yes, you heard that right. This small, copper-colored coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II might look like pocket change, but hidden among millions are a few rare varieties and minting errors that can send collectors into a frenzy. And tonight, we're diving deep into the 1971 Elizabeth II Two New Pence, the very first of its kind, to uncover its untold story, mysterious errors, and shocking collector values that could leave you speechless. So sit tight, because by the end of this video, you might just be checking your coin jar, your old drawer, or that forgotten piggy bank again, and who knows? You could be holding a coin that's secretly worth a life-changing amount of money. Now, let's rewind the clock back to 1971. It was a year of transformation for the United Kingdom, a time when the entire currency system was changing forever. The country was switching from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system, a system that had been used for centuries, to a new decimal system, where everything finally made sense, 100 pennies in a pound. And to mark that monumental change, the Royal Mint introduced a brand new series of coins, sleek, modern designs that would define a new era of British money. One of those coins was the Two New Pence. It was minted in bronze, had a smooth edge, and on the reverse, it featured the badge of the Prince of Wales, 3 ostrich feathers rising from a coronet, with a ribbon below that read Ich dien, meaning, I serve. On the obverse, or front side, of course, was a young Queen Elizabeth II, her first decimal portrait, designed by Arnold Machin. It's the same image many collectors recognize instantly, the youthful queen wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, looking dignified, confident, and timeless. Now, the coin you're seeing on your screen, the one from 1971, carries more history than most people realize. It was part of the very first batch of decimal coins ever released to the public. In fact, 1971 was the only year the coin was officially labeled New Pence, before the wording later changed to Two Pence in 1982. That makes this design the true original, the one that started it all. But here's where things get really interesting. Even though millions of these coins were made, not all of them were made perfectly. During that chaotic transition to decimal currency, the Royal Mint was working around the clock to produce billions of coins in time for Decimal Day, February 15, 1971. With such massive production, mistakes were bound to happen. And when it comes to coin collecting, mistakes, minting errors, can mean serious money. Now, let's take a closer look at the specific coin in our hands today. From the image, you can see it's clearly circulated. The surface shows that warm brown patina that only time can create. The raised areas, the Queen's profile, her hair, and those delicate feathers on the reverse, show slight wear. This is a coin that's lived a life, passed through countless hands, maybe even traveled the world before finding its way to you. And yet, despite that wear, it still holds potential, because certain features, hidden flaws, or even the smallest variations can make this unassuming coin worth far more than anyone expects. You see, the 1971 Two New Pence isn't just a coin from another country, it's a piece of monetary history, and collectors, especially those in the United States, love early decimal coins because they mark a turning point in modern currency. Now, let's talk about the types of errors that make this coin truly valuable. Some examples include off-center strikes, where the coin design isn't perfectly centered, die cracks, where lines appear due to damage in the minting die, and double strikes, where the coin was struck more than once, giving it a ghost-like doubled image. There are also planchet errors, meaning the blank piece of metal wasn't made right, and wrong metal strikes, where the coin was accidentally minted on a planchet meant for another denomination. If you ever found a 1971 Two New Pence struck on a bronze planchet that's slightly off in color, thickness, or weight, you could be looking at a rare variety worth hundreds, even thousands, of dollars. And it doesn't stop there. There have been reports of misaligned dies causing part of the lettering to fade, or of coins struck with rotated dies so the front and back don't line up properly. These quirky little errors, things the mint workers likely never even noticed, are what collectors chase like buried treasure. So what does that mean for the coin in your collection? Well, let's talk numbers. A typical 1971 Two New Pence in heavily circulated condition, like the one you see here, might sell for a few cents or maybe a couple of dollars as a curiosity piece. But, and here's where the excitement begins, once you get into higher grades, the story changes dramatically. An uncirculated 1971 Two New Pence with a full, glossy, copper-red surface and no marks can easily bring in $50 to $100 or more, depending on its condition and where it's sold. If it's been professionally graded and sealed by a service like PCGS or NGC, its value can rise sharply. But the real surprises come when error coins enter the scene. Imagine finding a 1971 Two New Pence with a double-struck design or one accidentally minted on the wrong planchet, for example, a blank meant for a 1 penny or even a foreign coin. Those pieces can reach into the thousands. And certain specimens with extreme die rotations or clipped planchets, where part of the coin's edge is missing due to a cutting error, have been known to bring 4 or even 5-figure prices at auction. Collectors have paid well over $10,000 for British decimal error coins, especially those from the early years like 1971. And yes, there are even stories of unique trial strikes and off-metal errors fetching eye-popping prices, crossing the $30,000 or even $50,000 mark in rare cases. Now, you might be wondering, how can such a small mistake turn a few cents into a fortune? It all comes down to rarity. When the Royal Mint made billions of coins, any error that slipped through the cracks became a 1-in-a-million survivor, a genuine piece of minting history. And collectors are always ready to pay a premium for something truly unique. But there's another angle, the emotional one. For many people, especially those who remember the early 1970s, this coin represents more than money. It's a piece of nostalgia. It reminds them of a time when Britain was changing, when life was simpler, and when the world felt like it was stepping into something new. For collectors, especially older ones in the US, that nostalgia adds emotional value. They remember the Queen's portrait in her youth, the copper shine of fresh coins, and the pride of a nation introducing a new currency. Owning a 1971 Two New Pence isn't just owning a coin, it's holding a memory. Now, here's where things get even more intriguing. Some rare versions of this coin were struck using experimental dies or leftover metals. And there have been rumors, yes, rumors, of a few 1971 coins with slightly different lettering or spacing, struck during early test runs before the official release. These are nearly impossible to find today, but if one were confirmed, it could easily break into the high 5-figure range. And then there's the 1971 proof set, special collector versions of these coins made with mirror-like surfaces. These proof coins were never meant for circulation and were struck with incredible precision. If you've got a proof-quality example, even from a set, you're already holding something special, but if it somehow escaped into circulation and survived in good shape, that's when the collector world starts paying attention. So let's recap for a moment. The 1971 Two New Pence may look common, but hidden among the billions are treasures, misprints, off-center strikes, die cracks, wrong metal errors, and other oddities that can make one coin worth more than an entire collection. And even a standard example in pristine uncirculated condition is a beautiful piece of history, one that's gaining attention as collectors around the world rediscover the charm of early decimal coins. Now, here's something most people don't realize, early decimal coins like the 1971 Two New Pence are starting to dry up. Many have been lost, melted, or simply discarded over the decades. Every year, fewer remain in nice condition. And as the number drops, the demand, and value, rise. We've already seen a surge in collector interest in coins from the 1960s and 70s, both in the UK and the US. That means this little bronze coin, once ignored, is now becoming a sleeper favorite among collectors, especially those who love finding hidden value in plain sight. And here's the real kicker, the kind of moment that gives this coin that wow factor. There have been verified sales of early decimal error coins breaking auction records, small coins selling for the price of a new car, and in some rare situations, close to the price of a house. That's right, a simple misstruck coin, no bigger than a quarter, pulling in $30,000, $40,000, or more because of one rare defect. Now imagine stumbling upon a 1971 Two New Pence like that in your change. Just picture that feeling, disbelief, excitement, that rush of adrenaline as you realize what you're holding. That's what makes coin collecting so magical. You never know what stories a simple coin might tell, or what secrets it might hide. Even this particular one, with its smooth, aged surface and its hints of wear, could carry small details invisible to the naked eye, tiny shifts in the die alignment, or letter spacing that only a seasoned collector would notice. Sometimes it's those microscopic clues that make all the difference. So if you've got a 1971 Two New Pence at home, take a closer look. Get a magnifying glass. Check for doubling, off-centering, or faint cracks. Weigh it carefully. Compare the color, the edges, and the alignment. Because one overlooked detail could mean the difference between pocket change and a small fortune. And that's the thrill that keeps collectors going, that eternal hunt for the next great discovery. So now, let's imagine the perfect scenario. You discover a 1971 Two New Pence that's been double-struck, showing faint doubling around the Queen's lettering or the feathers. You send it off to be authenticated, it gets certified as a genuine mint error, and suddenly collectors start bidding like crazy. Before you know it, that little coin you once ignored could be selling for $15,000, $20,000, or even $30,000. And if it's an extremely rare off-metal strike, something like being minted on a wrong planchet or with a unique proof surface, it could cross the $50,000 line or even more. It's not fantasy. These things happen. The coin world is full of surprises, and the market for rare errors is hotter than ever. And remember, the most valuable coins are often the ones that look the most ordinary. So next time you're sifting through old coins, don't overlook the brown ones, the ones with a bit of wear, or the ones that seem too common. Because somewhere out there, among billions of ordinary coins, is one extraordinary piece waiting to be found. And that's the magic of the 1971 Elizabeth II Two New Pence, a humble little coin that changed British currency forever, and that still, half a century later, manages to capture the imagination of collectors all around the world. Who knows, maybe yours is the next one to make headlines. So keep your eyes open, your magnifier handy, and your curiosity alive. Because history, mystery, and maybe even a hidden fortune could be sitting right there in the palm of your hand.